All right, people, here we go. It is now Monday. Get a load of this, December the 30th, the countdown to the end of 2019, welcoming in a new decade, 2020, just around the corner. So it's a good time for another NBA tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. I'm Joe Raineri. He is, of course, the legend, Mr. Tony Finn, joining us here today. We're solo because we are the only ones who care about you. Just want to go on record to say that. This is how dedicated Tony and I are. We are here for you because, quite honestly, we got 6 games in the NBA tonight, and I like a few of them there, Tony. I think it's a good card coming off a weekend that interesting, to say the least. Everyone was expecting 300 points last night with the Lakers in Dallas, and yeah, we didn't get it. We didn't get it. Yeah.
And just so I want to go ahead and support you on this, us being there for everyone, and that is, I could be at a couple sports books looking at the waitresses, and yes. I would much prefer to do that.
Right. Right. I could actually be at the strip club below the studio right now, but I'm not. All right. I've been up since 4 o'clock Eastern time today, and I'm here for you guys because there's money to be made a day like this, including over at WagerTalk.com. Mr. Finn here has got himself a bowl game up right now. He's got a college hoops game going on here tonight. There also may be right now a player or two here in the NBA that you guys are definitely going to want to hear about. So for $9, though, it's $9 Monday, guys. WagerTalk.com. Just go $9. Go get the plays here from Tony for $9. You can't go wrong. And
don't let anybody tell you the girls don't care about us, because they do.
Thank you. Exactly. We tip more than $9 anyway. So, all right, Finn, let's take a look here at this card here tonight. And there are some very interesting games. And one of the games you and I were talking about off air, which has seen an awful lot of movement, shall we say, here in the early going, is not a game probably you guys would think is going to get a lot. But listen, Atlanta and Orlando is getting some love here so far. And Orlando at home opened up somewhere around that 11.5 point. It's still hovering around that. It was down to 10.5. The total has creeped down. I'm seeing 208s now across the board, coming down from a high of 214 and 211. And now it keeps coming down here, Finn. So Orlando at home again. I'll go back to it. Orlando at home again, different team than what we are used to away. And again, Atlanta, no Trae Young. They're beat up as all hell. And it's just been Jabari Parker is out now as well. Evan Turner active, Alex Len active for Atlanta. I don't know if any of that makes any difference.
I don't either. I know this, and that is a blind squirrel. You know the saying, blind squirrels and blind pigs, or whatever the case may be. If you followed the NBA, you didn't know who was injured or who was out, and you looked at this total of 208 with an Atlanta team, then you would probably be saying something's wrong. And there is something wrong here. Yep. The Atlanta plays no defense. However, without Trae Young, they really what's your prop tonight for the high score for the Hawks? Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it, guys, but you pretty much have to fade the Hawks, even if John Collins is back. Without Trae Young in the lineup, it's just not the same. You got DeAndre Hunter, also. What do you expect from the kid? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what people were thinking they were going to get, and really right now Collins is the only established scorer on the team, and it's just not enough, Tone. It's never enough to want to back him in this particular spot, even with the double digits.
I agree. I mean, we talked about this off air, and that was that I really hit this 5-game card hard last night about 2-3 in the morning, and I just don't press plays, and there was too many question marks on too many sides of this 5-game guard that I eventually went on to other things that were going to be more productive. But I do have a lot of opinions. I'll share them. We'll share them.
Yeah, I think it's under or nothing here in this game here, guys. I think there's even still a 209. I still think there's some value there because they ain't going to score. Where's the points coming from? I dare you to figure it out, guys. I dare you to tell me where the points are coming from in this one. Game number 2 tonight, Tony. The Miami Heat on the road taking on the Wizards. What a great game over the weekend there. Taking on the Sixers at the AAA. How much fun was that? Talk about Philadelphia throwing up all over himself, then the Heat throwing up all over themselves, and then it goes into overtime, and the Philadelphia Sixers throw up all over themselves again. So really fun. But again, another victory at home. Miami proving to be a giant pain in the ass for even some of these big boys. And now they take on a Wizards team, which I'm fairly certain defense won't be a part of this equation here tonight, Tone. I'm seeing 8.5s and 9s for Miami on the road, 227, somewhere around that for a total.
This is one of the big variables that I look at in the NBA. Not that it's a defining, not it's concrete. It's not defining. It just doesn't consummate the game. Is what a team's capable of scoring on average, or what they do, the pace, et cetera, et cetera. And for the most part, Washington is head and shoulders more offensive than Miami. However, and to be completely honest, Washington has a good number of points that comes percentage-wise that comes from their bench. If they're starting 5, it's all Beal. But Miami's been really good. Away and home have been great, but this is a bad matchup for Washington. It really is. And as much as I don't like laying almost double digits on a road favorite, which is what you got here, is going to be 8.5, 9 probably at game time. I'm going to guess maybe even higher if some sharps like this game, which I doubt they will at that number. It is a game where Miami continues, like you said, to show us that they're going to be competitive. They're going to play hard every night, and when the trade deadline comes along, I think I'll be very interested to see what they're going to do, because they're going to do something. We know they are.
Yeah. So Bradley Beal's questionable, which is not what they needed to. I mean, it's just everybody's injured or hurt on this team. It's not good. So, listen, Miami opened up at 9. I'm seeing at 8.5. So some people think Washington might surprise them, because Miami has been a little bit different on the road, of course, than home. But the problem with going 227 here is, how many points are you going to get from Washington? And will Miami really, put the pedal to the metal in this particular spot? I don't know. I don't think they will at this point.
I think that. Well, I'll just make the statement. If you're pushing in on this game without knowing the status of a Beal, then you're not an investor, you're a gambler.
Yeah, amen. Yep, we don't like to do that. So next game up, how about them Brooklyn Nets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves? And from what I understand, it's funny too. They are talking about, and I believe Wiggins is questionable now. Yeah. So is Karl Anthony Towns in this game. Yeah, total 220 has been dropped down to around 218. I'm seeing Brooklyn went from a 1-point favorite to a 4-point favorite on the road in this game here, Tony. And I'm seeing reports of maybe Karl Anthony Towns to the Golden State Warriors, if you can believe that.
There's your 3-point movement, and that's the question marks on Towns and Wiggins, obviously. With those guys not being 100%, I still like the under in this game. And this is the one time this is the one game that I almost pushed in yesterday. But again, I'm just not going to do that to my clients without knowing
what the status
is. To some certainty, what the status is, these players.
Yep. Yeah. And, of course, Timberwolves here coming into this game, guys, having lost 9 of their last 10, and they've only covered the spread in one of those games. So they just look lost without the big man. They really do. They got no identity, and without him on the court, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm with you, man. I'd look for the under to cash in this particular game here tonight. And then, of course, we've got, moving down the board here, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis looks like he is back on the road, though, taking the Chicago Bulls on. Opened up at, interesting, 5.5 for Milwaukee. Then Giannis was active, and now it's I'm seeing 8.5 and 9s across the board. The total also jumped 5 points, 216 to 221 in this game here. What do you think?
Believe it or not, I like the over in this game for a couple reasons. One, because I don't think Chicago's just not, while Chicago has some young talent, if you can't, to some degree, stymie or slow the Greek Freak and his teammates when they're in the paint, they're going to beat you up.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it fast. They're going to do it hard. They're going to do it heavy. They're going to draw a lot of fouls. And they're going to obviously foul, stop the clock, and you're scoring points with no time running. I like the over in this game.
Yep. And again, both looks like Bledsoe and the Greek Freak ready to rock and roll here. Zach LaVine will be going for Chicago as well. Markkanen is questionable, but it does look like he's going to play. So I do think points is something you need to look at in that game. How about your your Utah Jazz at home taking on the Detroit Pistons here tonight. Pretty steady in this. Opened up at around 217, 218. That's what I'm seeing as a total. Laying 9 here, the Utah Jazz at home. You trust Utah here at home laying 9?
I don't trust Utah laying 9 at home against William and Mary. And listen, we've talked. I have a pretty good feel of Utah, but how about what Utah did to the Clippers this weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the road. Now, look at what Utah's done over the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I'm going to stay away. First and foremost, they've done this mostly without Conley.
Yeah.
Okay. They've done it without Conley. They don't get a lot. This Utah team doesn't also get a ton of bench production. They just don't. Mm-hmm. And they don't depend on a bunch of points in the paint. They do depend on a couple things, and they depend on free throws, getting the free throw line and scoring those free buckets. And Detroit has been miserable on the road, Joe.
Yeah.
They're miserable on the road. And if there was any variable, any attribute that Detroit that I could hang my hat on, I'd take Detroit in the points here against Utah, because this is not a Utah team that's playing to cover double-digit numbers. They're just not. They don't play that way, even if they're that much better than their opposition.
Yep. Yeah, and it's Griffin's doubtful. Andre Drummond is a go in this game here tonight between these two teams, but the numbers, they don't lie, guys. I mean, it's been rough here for. It's been really rough for Detroit here. In fact, they're 1-6 against the number in their last 7 overall, 3-10-1 against the number in their last 14 on the road. It doesn't get any better than that. Utah, however, 4-0 against the number in their last 4 overall, and 4-1 against the number in their last 5 following a win. So the Jazz should be the pick.
Yeah,
but
they're not my pick. They're my pick to win this game. In fact, if anybody wants to call WagerTalk, and we'll put some money in escrow, and I'll take Utah at anything less than -120.
Yeah, I am with you there. Total too starting to creep up. The over 4-0 in the Pistons' last 4 overall, 18-8 in their last 26 against winning teams. So that game is going off somewhere around 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight, which leaves us the finale, 10 o'clock there, Finn. Your Portland Trailblazers taking on the Phoenix Suns. Now, we did find out a little bit earlier here. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ayton is they listed as questionable, but they said he was probable. So Booker is a go, Ayton is a go here, so they are ready to rock and roll.
Let me tell you while we were talking, I sent out my typical I have a program where I send it out to some of my intel, some of my insiders. And my Phoenix guy just sent me back just 2 seconds ago, and said that they just downgraded Ayton to out.
Really?
Yes. Well, that now again, I would even though I love this kid, I've known him for 10 years and he's been great. I always double check. I should double check me, so I double check everybody else, and we'll find out. But he just said they just downgraded him to out tonight. So if that's the case, guys, I'm surprised, not terribly surprised. We haven't seen the number move a little bit more than it opened at 4. I thought maybe with 8 now you might see Portland go to a 6 or 7.
231 is the number there. Is it still a little much for you in that range?
No, well, without Ayton, even with Ayton, I probably would like, if I was going to be pressed to play something on this game, it would have been Portland, just because Phoenix doesn't get a large percentage of points from their bench, and I don't think Portland's with their bench. I think they're a negative 15 or 16 on the net.
Yep.
When their second rotation on the floor, it won't be that poor tonight, and it's in Portland, and they've been playing better. I think we both know they played very badly. They lost a lot of bench players that were big contributors from last year, and if Ayton's not in, I'm probably, that's we're going to get to free picks, and I'll make a decision on which one's going to be. But I like Portland.
Yeah, I'm with you there. 221, guys, was the total these two teams played to earlier this month in Phoenix. Yeah. So interesting. Carmelo coming off a couple of 12 and 13-point performances there. But if, in fact, even when you guys are watching this, if Ayton is out here, you might want to hop on that number, because it's only going to go the other way for Portland at this particular point. So there you go, guys. You got the lineups here, everywhere from the Atlanta Hawks and Magic all the way to the Phoenix Suns and the Portland Trailblazers. So go ahead, Finn. You had enough time to think it over. Where are you going to go? Best bets here tonight?
Well, I'm going to stick with what I mentioned first, with what I concentrated on, what grabbed my eye last night, and that is that's the under in the Brooklyn Minnesota game.
Love that. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go shits and giggles wise here, guys. Okay. I'm gonna call for the Brooklyn Nets to get the job done, along with the Miami Heat to get the job done, and I will go under in that Orlando game as well too. I just don't see where the points are coming from in
that's 208.5. And I know. Listen, I know everyone knows now. Everyone knows that are listening to the show that you have no Trae Young, but a 208 in an Atlanta game is like it's the equivalent of a 40 in a New Orleans Saints game.
Yeah. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. Exactly it. So keep an eye on it, guys, and make sure $9 Monday right now available over at WagerTalk.com. So you can grab yourself a little Finn burger here tonight. Got himself a bowl game going on up there. Got himself a college hoops game going on. NBA plays all week long, available right now at WagerTalk.com. So Finn,
that bowl game of mine is a afternoon game, by the way. It's a one. I think it's a.
it's the 4:00 game. So if you're watching this around 4:00, it's unfortunate. Right. However, it will not be the only bowl game of Tony Finn's this week. I can assure you of that.
No, but it's the biggest play we're allowed to make. It's a 5%.
Yep.
Guaranteed play, and you can get it for $9.
Do it right now, guys. We'll get this video up for you. All right, get there before kickoff, and then make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow. Tony Finn will definitely be here because he's a bad rash. So will I. And, guys, the bottom line is you're not getting rid of either of us. We are here for you, hopefully making it a very profitable Monday to you. So, Finn, always a pleasure, my man. Enjoy your day. Good luck with your 5% ball play, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
I drink penicillin. You can't get rid of me.
God, I could use some penicillin right now. Good luck, guys. WagerTalk.com.